Hello everybody, Doug here from 2 Plus Tough. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I, for one, am very excited. You see, a while ago on one of my streams, I mentioned that I wish there was a different kind of rogue idol. You see, the Bone Splitters specifically have a lot of reverence for the boar. Specifically, like they ride him. Obviously, it's the only creature that they use as mounts and things like that. And I was all about it. But there's not a lot of representation stuff outside of the models, and their spell lore mentions boars a bit. Well, I was like, man, I wish there was a different rogue idol that really represented that. And a user who was watching and is also just an awesome person in general, username Viridian Forge, saw that and made it his personal challenge to kind of come up with a rogue idol of Gork or Mork that is boar themed. So he's a giant Pumbaa boar that is all decked out in rocks and bone and all these kinds of crazy things. And he asked if he could make it for me. There's no pressure understanding. He wanted to get into 3D printing and design type stuff anyway, so it worked out. But yeah, so I am just over the moon excited. I got it this morning. Wow, it feels like it's been another day already. Okay, got it this morning, and it came to me all primed and everything, and man, I am just beyond pumped. Oh heck yeah, Rogue Pig. Yeah, exactly. So I'm just gonna build up some basic grays, and then we'll start moving into other colors, but I wasn't really sure how exactly I wanted to go about painting him, but we'll do this. I am going to go stone by stone and build up the different kinds of grays and stuff like that. This is just, I guess, my equivalent of Zenithal. Is it going to be a terrain piece? No, this is going to be my proxy for a rogue idol of Gork for the... It's a Forge World model. I don't know if you've seen that one, but it's a very cool unit for the Orc War Clans. Hey, I'll just hit this minute. Started priming my Seraphon. Nice. Purple's a great color for Seraphon. Trying to do basically focus on where the light would touch. But yeah, he fits on that base perfectly. I do switch the base to go sideways essentially, but if you ever saw a rogue idol at a tournament, that you do know that they did the surf and board thing, because he has that weird oval base. Wargamer Willie, a baker's dozen. You're the champion. Aw, thank you so much, buddy. That means the world to me. Hey, Willie, you were the impetus for that question I put up on my channel about hanging out with me while I play Skyrim. So if you guys don't know, I do thoroughly enjoy. It's called the Elder Scrolls Call to Arms miniatures game by Modiphius. It's the Skyrim skirmish game, and it's just one of my favorite games. Like I haven't talked about it a ton on the channel because a lot of reasons. Sometimes I just like to have a little something to myself, but lately I've just been like, man, no one is talking about this game. This is ridiculous. So I was away for most of this week with my basically on standby, helping drive and be a chauffeur for my father-in-law who was getting surgery done. He's good, by the way, BT dubs. But so I spent the entire time with my call to arms cards and rule books and stuff, and was putting together a whole bunch of content. So hopefully folks enjoy that as much as I do. Oh, thank you so much, Willie. You're the best part of the oh, thank you. That's too sweet of you. Give me one sec here. I'm almost done with my boy, and then I'll be back in that chat. Those of you who are just joining me, like I said, I'm just kind of throwing some color to track where light and that kind of stuff hits. Sort of like a zenithal, but with a brush. Oh, thank you, buddy. Speaking of proxies, 2 days ago, my wife accidentally destroyed my Lord of Change proxy. It was 90% ready. My inspiration is dead. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sure she didn't mean it. Yeah. I get the deflating feeling, but... So here's my plan, everybody. We got our first round of gray on him. My plan, now that all the rocks are picked out, is we're going to go and build up the gray piece by piece, stone by stone. I mean, obviously I'll be doing a whole bunch of them, but... And then I want to have green, like a glow green effect coming from the mouth, the eyes, ears, and snout. Basically anything that would be internal, right? So I'm going to do that. And then for all of the tusks and stuff, the tusks and the skeletal spine he's got on here, we'll build those up, obviously, with bone. So, that is the plan as of the moment. Oh yeah, for Skyrim, my cat knocked and drossed off my 6-foot shelf one day. Oh, that's a fall. Now I have another idea. Let's see. That contrast medium and yeah, one sec. My inability to find colors when I'm looking for them is becoming quite comical and also soul-crushing. So what I've got here is some contrast. We're gonna learn this on air together. Basically, I'm gonna make a super thin mix of the brown and the gray, and go through and build it up on the base there, and then we're going to switch to a thin down gray mostly here, and then I don't know what to do on top, probably a lighter wash, but basically adding more colors, right? We're also going to make it's going to be a wash, so it's going to flow in between the cracks of everything, really darken that up is the idea as well. So anyway, I'm just playing around at this point. I'm just super excited to paint this guy. Okay. And in case anyone is curious, like most of my paint schemes are not replicable because I'm just kind of winging it and making stuff up. Normally I would not do this, but this is almost empty anyway. And we're just mixing that medium up. So all of the shadow areas are going to be getting a bit of this. Yard work now, hobby after. That makes perfect sense. I was planning on doing quite a bit of yard work this week, but man, it has just been doing nothing but rain in here. What Seraphon are you working on there, Wargame Rolly? Always like hearing about other projects. I know you do quite a few armies, so always trying to keep up. This guy was my last component that I was waiting on, and so now it's just like, heck yeah, all in hobby progress. Let's get this guy done. I'm just going through very quickly and just adding a bit of depth. I didn't want to do like a full wash where I like soak the dang model in null oil, because I like the way that I can build in colors with contrast. You know, like on the bottom sides of some of these rocks, I can put in a little shadow. Boomba! He's right. Let's see. Great proxy choice. Thank you. Yeah. I'll say it as many times as I can. An awesome viewer of the channel reached out and was like, hey, I want to learn how to do some of this 3D design stuff. You mind if I try my hand at making you a rogue idol? I was like, oh my god, yes please. I'll be honest, I'm not great at receiving gifts. I've said that multiple times. So I was like, I just want you to know. He's like, no. He understood. I was like, just got my own damage I'm working through. Help me out. Yeah, just got them in the mail today, and I was working on videos this morning because I was out most of the week. But the whole time I was just like, I just want to paint that model. That's all I want to do with my whole life. That was the Catholic guild. Yep, I get that. But I think, ooh, there's like a big old gust of wind. Hey, if my stream goes dead, just know I'm fine. It's just a storm. I like the way he's coming out. These shadows are looking nice with a little bit of brown. Is it enough to play Warhammer when you have all the factions and tons of STL files? Hans, I don't think I understand. You mean is it okay to play if all you have is like you don't have any actual models, it's just files? Is that what you're asking? Hey man, you'll never hear me narc on you. I saw that the price tag on that new Necromunda set was $300, and I was like, ooh, no. I mean, it's not based on how they price everything else. It's not unreasonable within their world, but I just feel like I don't know. That's a lot. It's a tall ask. You have companies like Mantic doing like firefight and stuff. Their own not Necromunda / kill team, where it's like, you know. I understand. There's getting a lot of comments on the back end of videos, not directed at me, but just saying that like he's getting priced out of the hobby. Like, well, it's always been an expensive waste of money. I don't know what to say about that, but at the same time, I completely understand, especially when there's so much competition that does it for so much cheaper. But I also know that I come at that with my own perspective because I'm not someone who contrary to some internet beliefs, I'm not actually like a GW enthusiast. I just like games. Which is why I talk about other games here. Parabellum with Conquest so far I think is the best game company. That is for sure. Like Modifius has some great stuff, Asmodee. So I'm like, man, I get it. It's a point of high competition. So pricing people out, they don't have to get priced out. They can just probably go easily afford another game somewhere else. all the pork butt that you expected when you turned into this stream. Muy bien, great. Now we can start building up our actual grays and stuff. Just sat down alongside you, Doug. Hi from Scotland. Hey, buddy, what's up? Couldn't believe the $2.99 Necromunda set. It's a whole lot for not as much as the last box. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Okay, I understand, Hans. Yeah, and thank you very much for the compliment. Yes, I'm very excited for him. He is my Pumbaa, and I like him. Sweet. So with that little bit, I think the brown is what's helping my eyes, at least. I don't know how well it's showing up on the camera, but it's helping me kind of visualize where everything is. Now, I learned from one YouTuber, Vince Ventrella, that when you have models like this, you should mix up the colors. That is to say that there's not only one kind of gray in rocks, which is true. It's just also something I never thought of. So I got here, there's a gray, what are you, Ashen gray? Dawnstone, okay, cool. Cool. He'd be so proud of me. That's what I should do. I should make a competing shirt for merch, and it's like Vince would be proud. Okay, what else? Pardon me. But I will say I want them all to be gray. I know that rocks come in all colors pretty much. Maybe not bright blue, but you know what I mean? Like they'll come in a lot of different colors. However, I want a lot of these to, like I got some good variation here of different kinds of grays, but I want them to be gray because I want it to look cohesive when I paint tattoos and stuff like that on him, because he's going to match the bone splitters. So I need him to be consistent enough for like that to not look goofy. Okay. I think just making sure there's no other immediate colors I'm looking to grab so I don't have to keep interrupting myself. That's actually really cool gray. Cool, I think I'm good. Hey, looking good. Hey, here's the man of the hour. This is Viridian Forge. It's his model. Give him all the praise and golf claps. Thank you so much, buddy. I've been thinking about painting them all day. Very incredible design. Well done. You deserve it, buddy. The tusks are insane. I know. When he showed me the tusks, I was like, oh, snap. Imagine that going Kragnos. I don't see that happening. Or at least I don't see that fight ending favorably for Pumbaa. Let's see, what else is going on in the GW news? I don't have any, if anybody wants to throw a topic out there, I'm happy to talk about just about anything. Doug, is that Rogue Idol model illegal to use in a tournament? Oh, is it legal to use? Yes. Viridian Forge, who designed it, reached out and clarified that it would be, but you know, it's on the same base, and because I chose to keep the theme like a stone type thing, it very much fits in the scheme of good proxies. Now, if I went to a Games Workshop event, no, but I also don't go to many events, so like now if I wanted to bring it, of course, I mean I still might get an actual Rogue Idol, but this just works so much better with theme. I don't know. Has anyone seen the new Night Haunt leaks? They are huge changes. Yeah, they certainly seem to be. I have not had a chance to really sit down with it and look too far into it. Part of me, I did say this to a friend, part of me feels like oh, they're not in a starter set anymore? Well then, let's just make them super complicated. Just because their Allegiance rules just really blew up a bit, and there's a lot of cool things in there. It was just very jarring when all their stuff was like, yeah, I mean, you're basically Stormcast with how you can deploy. Like, oh, okay, that's pretty easy to remember. Let's see. Has anyone seen the new? Finally paint my Sacrosanct Stormcast. Gonna go with Hallowed Knights. Never painted a mini before. Any tips? Oh yeah. Hallowed Knights. Hallowed Knights is a fantastic one to start with. You know, with painting minis in general, here's what I'm gonna say: have no expectations for your first one. And then going forward, just pick one thing that you think you could do better. And you just do that incrementally, right? Every time you paint a model, pick a thing. You're like, hey, you know what? I feel like that cowl is not right, or the armor doesn't look quite right on X, part or whatever. Just pick a thing. Learn everything all at once. It can be very overwhelming unless you're like super into it. Which you might be. My discovery might really be super into that. That's the best advice. I have a beginner. Oh, hey Vince. Have a yes. Definitely recommend all of that if you're looking, especially if you're looking to really get into painting. Vince is your one-stop shop. Sorry, I got a little distracted by this dude. So Vince, I assume that after I win Vault Wars and put Brendan from Cubic Shenanigans to shame, I'll be a guest again, like to talk about it. And you know what would be even better is if he could be a guest there too, but he wasn't allowed to say anything. He just had to sit there. I have this ongoing thing with Brendan, and I'm sorry I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Something with an M. He's over on Twitter, but he's one of the hosts of Cubic Shenanigans, the podcast I love very much. And we're in competition for the Underdog Award. He's bringing Sylvaneth, and of course I'm bringing these boys. And so he keeps sending me pictures of his Sylvaneth, and I send him pictures back of like the big Stabas, where it's like 2 orcs carrying a giant tree limb that has a sharp rock at the end, and like, this is what's going to happen to your Sylvaneth if they come to me, man. So we've been having quite a bit of fun. Absolutely, we'll have you both on. There we go. Nothing could go wrong with that. There's no way that could come back and bite me in the butt. With the new Ash Waste going on pre-order, how would you handle the issue I see about different basings? Oh gosh, I wouldn't. If I'm honest with you, I probably wouldn't do too much. I mean, I certainly wouldn't do any rebasing, just because not enough is known, you know? People are going to make all kinds of things. We need to see the rules, see all the... Personally, I haven't listened to any YouTubers who got advanced copies of stuff really talk about the rules. But also, Necromunda is not the kind of game that I feel like people... I feel like that community base is not like killing each other for leaks and stuff like that. Like, I feel sometimes the AOS community is. I just realized, for whatever reason, it seems like YouTube has jumped to a Skyrim playlist. Mm-hmm. Why? That was weird. It's a sign. Yes, yes. I am going to start that here pretty soon. I didn't think this guy was going to come in until Monday. So that was actually going to be part of my plan for today, was hanging out, getting Skyrim all set up to stream with you guys. But then this came in and I was just so dang excited. I wanted to thank you. Oh, the video I made with the white dwarf lore generator. Yeah, I'm glad you like that one. I find more and more kind of been drifting away from AOS as a game, but I've really just fallen more and more in love with it from just a lore perspective. I just kind of like a lot of the fantasy elements that they pull in, and I don't know. Yeah, it's just my kind of fantasy. Game's kind of getting away from me though in terms of bloat and complexity, but a lot of folks feel that way. That is certainly not an original thought. I think that's part of the reason why I was excited for the bone split is, like, when I put them on the table, I just feel like because they don't have a ton of, like, very complicated rules, I just felt like I was allowed to just kind of enjoy the game a bit more. Nice. How about you guys? Anyone else here feel that way, a bit overwhelmed rules-wise specifically? I've always taken the position that I'm not particularly special, so if I feel some way, I'm sure someone else does too. It's not like I'm ahead of the curve. Just doing one small pass with pure Dawnstone rather than a mix. Only on these really, really high edges. Been painting for 3 years, only played a handful of games. The new changes are helping streamline, but it's also much. Yeah, I get that. Appreciate you saying that. I guess for me, yeah. Sometimes I haven't reviewed the updated AOS rules from last year. Are they drastically different from second edition? They're pretty different. It's a pretty different kind of game. That much I can tell you. I mean, it's not bad. It's definitely clean, like cleanly written and well executed in terms of like helping people find rules and stuff like that. Like, it does a good job. It's just there's a lot of it compared to when I play like Conquest or what are some of the games we were just talking about? Skyrim game. Yeah, one-page rules. I mean, oh my gosh, one-page rules. That's like their shtick, and I love it. I may have missed it, but is the idol for sale? As far as I know, not yet. The user Viridian Forge made it for me, and I believe he said he was going to try eventually doing this online store, but I am waiting for any kind of URL or anything like that. It would be like a what do you call it, 3D printer file, STL, that kind of thing is what I'd imagine it would be. But no, I don't know anything about it. I mean, it also just looks like something people would use like in D&D or some equivalent. But I will keep you. Are you giving the rogue idol the slap chop? I don't know what a slap chop is. The heck is that? I'm painting it like Paint Doug's everything else. Doug paints everything else. Quick and dirty. Sexy as can be. I'm not sure how much that really shows up for you guys, but it actually is looking pretty dang good. They're nice, well defined. I'm just going to take a little bit of this, kind of blend it in the Dawnstone to really lighten it up, and we're just going to pick out some of the sharper edges just because that dry brush didn't quite get them the way that I wanted it to be. It's a 3D model for printing, so I'm trying to get it up on my Minery factory. Oh yes, this is one of a kind. I love it. Yeah, man, I see you throw it up on my mini factory and let me promote the heck out of it. I love this guy. Now, of course, because he's one of the last models I painted for this army, he's going to get blasted off the table turn 1. But I'm actually okay with that, because he is just one of the big threats that I can throw at people. So if they choose to focus on him, that is A-okay. Much better. You just need a little sharper edge just to kind of pop just a smidge more. I might even do one brighter eventually, but I'll come back around to that. We can always turn the brightness up. When's your event again? It is in 2 weeks, the weekend of the 14th, or 15th, whatever it is, that weekend. But, yep, it's coming up fast. I'm very excited for it. I don't know, I guess part of it is, and this is not a fair expectation to put on this event, but part of it is I am hoping it kind of rekindles some of my love for AOS. You know, and I mean, a lot of people go to events for that exact reason. That's why you see, you know, people like power painting the night before an event, because it gets them excited. You know, I know, for example, like Tom Lyons, that's a huge part of his painting motivation. He said before he likes having events and that kind of thing to get him pumped to put stuff on the table, from what I understand. And like, yeah, dude, I get that. Plus I roped a buddy to coming in with me. Let's see. Just got here. Where are you going with the paint job, Doug? Any OSL? Oh, yeah, it's just gonna be mostly rocks, and I'm gonna have some creepy green lights glowing from the various orifices: eyes, nose, ears, and mouth. Yeah, about it. I mean, I'm not going to go crazy. I am not a very intense painter. Doug, did you already see the Slaves to Darkness model spoilers? Can't wait till they... Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, I think everybody on the internet saw those in 0.5 seconds. Oh, yeah, because they just got shared. I mean, people have been excited for those kinds of models for a long, long time. I always wonder, and I don't know that this is true, but my brain makes me jump to this, is like, I wonder if there's someone who works at Game Workshop, like an artist, who is super disappointed that it got out early. Or do they not care? I don't know, it could go either way. But I would just feel bad if we were all like, oh my god, and I was like, artist was like, ugh, I really wanted them to experience it a certain way. But that is speculation. Because I guess what I'm really asking is like, how much personal tie do they have to like the full release of the product? Not, I mean, you know, that's what I'm saying, is like not so much that they're sad that we get to see it now, because I'm sure that they love hearing that's awesome, but how much the artists get to be clued in on, you know, the hype building and that kind of stuff. If anybody has a topic they want to chat about, go ahead, throw it out there. Because when I'm painting this excitedly, I'm either doing one of two things. I'm either live streaming or I'm watching an 8-hour-long breakdown of Morrowind, the video game, and why it's the best. Which does exist on YouTube, and everyone should watch it. Morrowind, those were the days. Oh yes. The Butsy, is that you're going to incorporate an incarnate? No, the incarnate actually came too late for the window, so they said it's not going to be in play. But honestly, I don't foresee ever having a list where there's the incarnate as well as this guy, although that might not be a bad thing. If all I'm trying to do is overwhelm my opponent with like possible threats. There's some merit to that, I think. But yes, Morrowind ate up most of my 8th and 9th grade years. remember collecting all the unique items. Oh, yes. I just liked wandering. Just always felt like there was just something to meander over to. Okay, wait. Okay, let's do some more Morrowind chat because I'm always here for nostalgia. It's just that people assume Games Workshop is my nostalgia, and it's like no. It's Pokemon and Morrowind, man. For me, what kind of character did you like to play? For me, it was. Oh, man, I spent a lot of time as like a, I guess, battle mage type deal where I have destruction magic, a lot of healing, and then really leaned into axes. For whatever reason, I know like long blades are always like the generic fantasy weapon, but man, in every game I play, I always feel like axes are way better. GW games included. Chain axes are cooler than chain swords. Changed my mind. How old am I? I am 32. It takes a second to register sometimes. For me, let's see. I always did House Telvanni because they were basically a mages guild without being a mages guild. They had a very distinct culture, and I always thought that they were kind of the coolest of the great houses. The only one I was ever like super opposed to was Redoran. I'd love to see that myself. Oh yeah. Also, have you gotten many practice games in with your list before leading up to the event? Do you have any goals? Those are great questions. So, practice games, yes and no. With this specific list, not really. I had my first real game, last weekend, I guess? Basically because, for whatever reason, I just could not online find the right base size. And so finally I asked a buddy and he let me use just a blank base that he had. So I was able to finally get a game in with the actual Rogue Idols profile. I do really like him quite a bit. He's mean. He can be a mean dude. just gonna do this. I'm gonna throw in just a dash of brown. So as far as practice, so like for me, the issue was not so much learning specific facets of the list. It was more about like when I charge with this unit, what can I reasonably expect from them, kind of a deal. Like that was really where it was out of like, I am just somebody who needs to see things in practice. And so it's like, I just need to see these guys interacting on the table. And so that did help quite a bit. Right now I'm just adding some color variation to some of the rocks here. But regardless, as far as what I'm looking to do at the event, is you asked about like, you know, what score am I looking to achieve? So I am going for a very specific trophy. Okay, it is, there's two of them now, but when I first signed up for the event, it was called the Underdog. And they've since added a second one, which I'll explain here in a second, but essentially it's a list of all the worst factions in the game. And if you take this faction and you win at least 2 games, you are in entry to compete for this award. And whoever has the highest, you know, game scores amongst those specific lists or those specific armies that are on the bottom tier, they are all in a contest to win the Underdog Award. So basically, I just need to win 2 games. 2 out of 5. And anything beyond that is probably undeserved. Somebody in another stream asked, like, aren't you worried about doing like your painting on your channel because someone could net list against you? It's like, my guy, if they're trying to net list against Bone Splitters, they're about to get their world rocked by a whole bunch of other factions, man. So yes, my goal is to go at least 2 and 3 while collecting as many battle points as I can along the way. Like, even the games I lose, I still have a chance to try and collect as many, you know, because you can try to do your grand strategy, you can go for your battle tactics. Like, there's stuff that I can do in the other games, but I'm happy with just losing and falling to the absolute bottom of the barrel team, or that bracket rather, and it was just me and all the other people there. They're there for that exact same award. We can duke it out. Like, yes, that's what I'm looking forward to. Yesterday, I recently attended a similar award. The meta breaker award. Nice. Yeah, since they announced the event, they actually put up a second award called hard mode. And hard mode is interesting. My understanding of it is it really is just all the TOs coming together and picking like a list that represents the idea of hard mode. Like, this person tried to come to this event with a terrible list and do well, and for that, my understanding is you don't really need to win much. It's more of just like a TO's vote of hard mode type deal. So I'm hoping I can at least get one of those two. I would be okay with either. But I just want the underdog because I think it sounds cooler. But if the worst case scenario is I go and I come back with a hard mode award, it at least shows that I'm a man of conviction. I don't just tell people to play crappy armies for no reason. They can still be fun. This guy's got a little face only a mother could love. I love it. Yeah, Bob, how'd you end up doing in that event? Acquiring minds want to know. I mean, also, if you're like, don't want to talk about it, that's cool. I don't want anyone to feel like, yeah, I got dumpstered. Now, what I'm also going to do when this guy gets a little bit more complete is I am going to put moss and stuff on him. We'll have some patches of green so it looks like algae's growing off of just kind of make him look a little bit more worn. Sort of a moss grows fat on a rolling stone kind of reference there. I went to a beginner's tournament, 3 games in 8 hours with only the expectations of playing to have fun. I won a box of tree revenants from the raffle, no scorekeeping. That's cool. I love those kinds of things. One of the... I decided that the next big event that I go to, if they have it, I'm going to volunteer to be a part of. There's this... a game format, I guess you could call it, called Youngbloods, where it really is that. It's just a bunch of adults in the hobby hanging out with kids and kind of guiding them through an experience of, you know, whatever game you're playing. So AOS in this case, probably. But I don't know. I just like I'm not a fancy painter. And I have no interest in competitive play. I'm not trying to prove anything, right? On the YouTuber wars between channels. Like, I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. So it's like, why not just do what I kind of do best? And I do think my natural talents is less to do with knowledge and more to do with teaching. I think in another life I could have been a teacher, like a really good one. Came in 5th and got best death. Nice. Got my goal of 3 wins in the first day. That's so great. Yeah, I think best in faction and or best in Grand Alliance is a fantastic reward. Oh, thank you, Ollie. That's very sweet of you to say. I mean, you know, just got to do it. You got to lean into what your strengths are in life, right? I have no doubt that if I really took the time, I could be a much better player. Like that doesn't sound unreal to me at all. It's more just, is that what I want to take the time to do? And the answer, generally speaking, is not really. Let's see. Yeah, the chariot. Chariot's one of the best. I did let the Stormcast go, but of course I did hold on to the Chariot and a few other units. I kept a little bit because I wanted to have a ally force if I ever wanted one. So I have like my custom Lord Exorcist from the Holy Havoc event. The Chariot that I had 2 friends locally paint the Gryphounds for me. That was a fun little thing. I'm grateful for them in that. Oh my god, so close to being done with this layer. Okay. So, let's do... I did like the gray that we worked into a few places. The gray, the brown. So I'm going to go ahead and mix a little bit more of that up. Manfred was definitely my MVP, but loved Radjikar the Beast. Now, he was one I never got to saw too much of him. But he does seem like a pretty cool unit. I feel like they just really were like, make Virkos all the coolest models in the faction. Looks like such a beast. We all see what you did there. I'm just gonna Google rocks. That's probably the most innocent thing that this hobby has driven me to Google. Let's check out some various rocks, friend. This is Rock Talk, my new channel I'm starting. I kind of want it to be... yeah, that looks about right. You know, like where you want them to be mostly gray, but not quite identical. Radjikar can slap. Nice. Okay. Skaven Blight Dinge. Another dark gray kind of color. And just glob it right in there. Make it its own kind of thing. this guy. He's coming to life. The key with rocks is color and texture. Lots of subtle hues in rocks. Yes, I am building up all different kinds of colors. As far as textures go, I am going to try and put a couple bits of moss and stuff on him. But yep, thank you, Vince, for chiming in. You're the master. And yes, boss, I am gonna do the mossy green wash. I did that. Let's see. Well, I did have a rogue idol before, but what was the other? I think I did like a really easy version of like Stonecast or something at one point. Probably with Steelheart's Champions. That I really liked. Yeah, and it was really good once I added the greens and stuff in. Did want to have more of a... I'm hesitant to go like on too much of the beige type rocks because I really want the bones and like the thing on his back to pop. And I think that adding too much, you know, like some rocks are very light colored. Doing too much of that would detract away. Some of these things are dang near orange. Sorry, I keep going back and forth between rock page. Let's see. Maybe. Let me just see what I got here for... Actually, Mornfang Brown might be a really cool way to... Cool. Yeah, we got a few options here. And basically what I was going to do is put moss type things and then build and then wash that into any tufts or whatever that I put on there. It looks good. I don't want a ton of it because, like I said, I don't want the brightness to pull away from the bones. But it is a good way to break up what's there. we haven't even gotten to the glowing green parts yet. Which I assume will be a rather painful process, but that's okay. Here we go. That's what I want. I want that. Doug, what are your thoughts on the new Thondia book? What do you predict Beastmen will do? So first part of your question, Thondia book, absolutely love it. I did a full review of it here on the channel. To me, it is reminiscent of the things that made me fall in love with Warhammer when I was younger. Just an exceptional way to get different people to play different game modes, and there's a story that is ultimately irrelevant. I mean, like, you don't need to know it to appreciate AOS, whereas I feel like sometimes they release a campaign book and you're like, I have to know what's going on because I don't understand why these factions are fighting. You know? I don't feel like there's any of that. And I just thought it was there's just a lot of value in that book, no matter what kind of gamer you are. I know some folks are not a fan of seeing a matched play section there, but it's because of the way it works, because the battle pack system works. And if you want to see that explained in detail, go check out Warhammer Weekly, because Vince really walks you through the untapped potential of the way that battle packs could and should be used. And I think that he did a great job. He said everything I wanted to. But to answer your question, yeah, no, I thought it was a great book. As far as what's going on with Beastmen, man, I don't know, but I am so excited to find out. For real. It sounds like perhaps Morgur is coming back, the old world character, who has been deified by some strains of deified by some strains of Beastmen. I think that's turning out pretty well in terms of just a little bit of variety, you know? I mean, I'm not looking to have this guy be like a Technicolor Dream Pig. But as far as just breaking up the mundane, I think we're doing pretty good. Okay. I felt the brush tap something, and I'm pretty sure it didn't tap like the bristles, it was just the handle. But I don't trust anything. So, with this, I think it's enough that the bone is going to pop off, which is great. So let's get started on this green. Let's see, we got... I'm just grabbing a whole bunch of greens. Give me just a hot sec. All right. Now, it's all face related, so it shouldn't take too terribly long. Meaning I'm not building green in between each and every rock or something like that. I thought about that, and then the second I actually saw this thing up close, and I was like, ooh, that's a tall ask. Hey Doug, do you think Gloomspite Gits will be getting a new battle tome? What do you think? Oh, what would I like to see Games Workshop do? Sorry, I'm going to skip this song. It's just a lot of the same note. Sometimes the line between music and noise, it's a bit rough. Sorry, to answer your question. You know, I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about the Gloomspite Gits current position. Like, you know, what factions struggle with and then what they don't arguably switches quite frequently. Especially when they make big changes to reinforcements like how they did with the current edition where, you know, they can't take the endless hordes. I think one thing I would love to see, if not for Gits, then at least for some faction, is the idea of playing around with reinforcement points. Like, hey, if you are a Gloomspite Gits Allegiance, you get extra reinforcements or whatever. Or if you take X battalion, you can get extra... or units in this battalion can be reinforced even if they're not... Or can be reinforced twice even if they're not battle line. Like, that kind of stuff, where you start playing around with the mechanical ways of, like... Yeah, we're playing the same game, but my army has just fundamentally different tools. Even for something as basic as putting a number of guys on the board. I think that would be cool. What else would I like to see? I don't know. My thing with Gloomspite is I really tend to not be a horde army player just because I have, since my last horde army, done a lot of deep introspection and realized this isn't a great idea if I keep trading armies faster than I can paint them. So, you know, there's a bit of that. But yeah, I don't know. I think they just need some way to play in that arena of the game. I would like, well, I was gonna say I would like shooters to be better, but I know that shooting is already an issue. I don't know. I'm gonna give you a fat I don't know. There's just, because part of the issue to me is that I also still want each army to feel unique, and I don't like the idea of homogenizing everything. I guess what I'm saying is it's hard to make a horde army, or what is like canonically a horde army, feel... How do you make that feel different from Skaven, which is similarly? I don't know. Gets are fast to paint though. Took me an afternoon. Don't tempt me. I'll probably end up getting some eventually anyway, just because I do want to have them as allies, at least some spider guys as allies to my bone splitters. I went on a bit too bright. Let's diffuse that just a smidge. Tell you what, let's just do this. We're going to come back to the tone. But overall, like I like the army. Certainly when they added squigalanche type stuff, my interest peaked. I feel like sometimes I feel like there's too many armies in one book for them. Like, that is to say, they tried putting all different kinds of grots, spider riders, squig hoppers, night goblins, they put them all in the same army. But then they ran the risk of like, well, X doesn't feel unique and it's always going to be compared to Y, where Y is just something else in the army. So it's like there's a lot of internal competition between units, I feel like, to the point where it's like, but somebody needs to be unique around here. Somebody's got to do a cool thing. Like, I don't feel like the spider riders do anything particular that I couldn't throw enough squigs at to do. I like him. I'm probably going to do a little bit of a wash on the tongue there, just because I feel like I've dry brushed a lot of detail away that I don't want to lose. Let's see how he looks on the camera, sorry. Yeah. So I'm going to clean up the stone, obviously just a smidge, but then we'll get to the tusks and stuff, and I think that that will really frame it out a bit. Also totally forgot he had nostrils. Yes, my piggy. Let's see. Viridian Forge. So, should Gits be like the other, like the Orc War Clans? That's a tough one to answer. I don't have a good answer for that one. I just realized that what I just said makes absolute zero sense. That was a good question I don't have an answer for. The hands of Midas. Oh my gosh, no, no, no. Nothing like that. Hopefully I have just enough Xandri dust to get me through this. Actually, let's see, what else do I got? Oh, I got 2 pretty much empty things of Xandri dust. Cool, awesome. Sorry, I'm looking to see what I have in terms of good base colors for bone. Hey, skeleton bone. It kind of looks like it's up there with Xandri dust is pretty close to desert yellow. Cool. Yeah, we'll do that. Man, I need to clean out my paint desk. Actually, while I still have a little bit of this gray, I got a little bit. There we go. Just wanted to clean that one little thing up while I still had some. Okay, cool. Now we got to spend 3 hours shaking an army painter bottle, so otherwise you just get pure medium at the front, and that's never fun. Okay, so Willie, while I got you here, I almost said Wiley Wicca Woo. While I have you here, Willie, let me know what. Okay, so I want to play Skyrim. And what I think I'm going to do is take one of the Dragonborn cards that exist in the Call to Arms miniatures game and build a character based around that. Because they do have very specific skills that they have access to and stuff like that. So I think that might be a really cool, fun way to do that. How does that sound to you? The only bummer to that is that the only Nord that they have or the only Dragonborn that they have is a Nord at the moment. Sounds wicked. Oh yeah. Yeah, and it's a, I mean, it's a design I have never tried. So if you don't know, like the Dragonborn card, there's a few of them. Now with the latest expansion they dropped, there is a Nightingale version. So if you don't know what I'm talking about with that, essentially in Call to Arms, sorry, in Skyrim, when you get near the end of the Assassin's Guild, you become what's called a Nightingale. It's kind of like an honorary rank inside of their thing. And so being able to be one of those is a cool thing. And you can play that obviously on the tabletop game now. But you know, as befitting, it's like a stealth archer kind of thing, because it makes sense, you know, in lore of the Dark Brotherhood. It just also seems to be all of the generic plays that you see with Skyrim. It's really good. Always has been. Stealth archer is like the default. I always make a Nord. I get that. Like, I always feel like I should make a Nord because I know that the main quest is going to force me into being Dragonborn, and you know, I'm a leader of the Nord people. I can speak to the dragons and all this kinds of stuff. Where it's like I mean, this 1,010,001 of why I think Morrowind's a better game is it just people either viewed you you're either a local or you're an outlander, and your outlander status was non-negotiable. And I actually appreciated that because, yeah, I mean, you know, there wasn't an inside and an outside. Nords or not, like, do you fit into their mythology, yay or nay? Why is the Khajiit Dragonborn? Which, by the way, I do play Skyrim on my PlayStation, and my character out there is basically I made my cat into a character. He's a Khajiit. I've thought about doing character types that challenge me, like being a priest of Arcade or something like that. Like, I've never tried any of those, where it's a harder version. Haven't we all count owners? Yeah. I always roleplay as myself, like a tall bearded guy, see how he fares in magical realms. I mean, whenever I start a new role-playing game, like I've been doing Disco Elysium as well lately, which is a fantastic role-playing game. I will act like myself, like I'll roleplay as myself in terms of decision making before I go back and do goofy stuff. But in terms of character creation, I tend to just be like, what's cool and unique in this? So I am often pulled towards like Argonian, and although they used to be more distinct, they used to not be able to wear helmets or boots. Yes. He's coming together. It really helps me when I start fully blocking out colors like I'm doing now. Like obviously I have to do a second layer of this color to get a strong base for the bone. But it is looking mighty fine. And it kind of helps me visualize what everything should be looking like at the end. And hey, just like that, it's dry enough to start all over again. Viridian Forge, dude, you have no idea how happy this makes me. And you look, you can base him up, and that way you can see his size. He's perfect for that rogue idol base. Wolf Zinc, Doug, have you started on the Blood and Plunder boat? I have not. I am going to. I'm just in like a really intense mode of like I just need to get a project done, so I'm going to get this guy and two small heroes done relatively quickly, because then I'll have this list completely done, ready for my event, so that's important to me. And then after that I'm going to do a mad dash to 1,000 points of Conquest, Last Argument of Kings, and with that all done, then I will really dedicate time to Blood and Plunder, and the ship game. They sent me that as well. Oak and Iron, I think, is what it is, and I just haven't had a ton of time. I've been running around doing a lot of stuff for family, but the reason I wanted to like clear my schedule is because like I am so excited to paint those boats. And so I want to take a lot of extra time and really just nail it, you know? But I am very excited for Blood and Plunder, and that's, you know, I was talking earlier about how the rules complexity of AOS is kind of getting away from me a little bit. Games like Sludge and Blood and Plunder and all those kinds of like that's my jam. Where and Rain in Hell, actually, Vince, if you're still here, his game, I've been actually demoed it twice. And people really do enjoy it. It's just, you know, your product has to be accessible, man. And it's just, I just feel like AOS stuff is just getting less and less. For people who have never heard about a war game, just gets harder and harder. Now, the people who have already heard about it, they might be attracted to it, and that's cool. But here on the channel, of course, I personally have always been focused on getting new folks into the hobby. How many players are going to be at your upcoming event? I think there's like 60. I think it's something like that. It's somewhere in that region, like 60, 64. Hopefully, I don't know. I need to grudge someone way better than me so I can get stomped into oblivion round 1 so I can play against human level players. Like, who think about the game like I do, where it's just like, move model forward and blow up. Got Tom Lyons over here being like, the expected damage out of this unit is blah, and you're like, he's a big pig. I like him. Why'd you take that guy? Because he's a big old pig. Sweet. Which is more of the Doug speed. And also, I want to make that very clear. That's not me poo-pooing competitive players. That's just me saying they play a different game than what I'm there for. And brackets like that exist for a reason. So that I can hang out with my folks. And Tom can go win the event. And I only add that caveat because, man, you want to talk about some hobby news. I feel like Twitter has just become the epicenter of the debate between narrative gamers and competitive ones. And I don't particularly have a dog in that fight because I don't go to a lot of events. But it's just been interesting to watch. I feel like there's not many times in this hobby where I get to be a fly on the wall just watching. Usually it's something I want to weigh in on, but this is like, no. Doug gets a free pass to Quiet Town. Been enjoying finding alternatives to GW games to prevent burnout. I picked up Guardians of the Galaxy to dip my toe into Marvel Crisis Protocol. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying Battletech. I haven't really seen anyone around here playing it. But I have also bought into the Marvel Crisis Protocol cult. It started off with me just wanting to play as spider foes, like the actual bad guys, Green Goblin, that kind of thing. But honestly, like, I just love the game mechanics so much. A lot of the people who worked on it also worked on the early versions of War Machine and Hordes, and so just the way that like rules are articulated, it just clicks for me because it clicked on that game. So yeah, I don't know. It's been really fun. I think I missed this one. Okay, so this is going to require time to dry. But what I'm thinking with this boy, he's looking awesome. Obviously, I'm going to do a wash to make the bone look nice and dirty, build it up with Ushabti bone a little bit. And then for the moss, I'm thinking of having a big patch up here, like on a shoulder area, and even putting a few tufts or stuff like that in there. And then I'm gonna do a wash with green to kind of make it blend in a bit more. And then I am going to do tattoos all over him to match the tattoos that my bone splitters have. Just kind of marking him, but honestly, I think he is looking pretty baller. I'm very, very pleased. Here we go, Cassandora yellow. I don't know how people have time for more than one game system. I'm a very slow painter. It just depends on what you want out of the game, and for me, the painting has never been the issue. It's honestly, it's motivation. Like, if I can constantly get a game in for something, I am infinitely more likely to keep playing it. Otherwise, I just kind of fall by the wayside and I stop caring. There we go. That'll add just a smidge of depth back to the tongue, and I like it. Blah, 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 blah. He's so great. He's looking really awesome. Can't wait to see him all finished up. Yes, I am going to do a like an army showcase once I have 2 more bosses to paint up, just to get all that squared away. So when that's all done, I am going to do a giant army showcase. And I was going to put him on a wall section from the Thondia Stronghold terrain box set, but I couldn't get it to work the way that I liked it, so he's just going to be on the ground, but that's cool. We're going to deck out his base, make it look all nice and fancy. So I'm very excited about this model. I hope you guys are here along for the ride, and yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it in the comments below. But I'm going to go ahead and hop off for the night. My voice is running a bit shy, and I can't wait to hang out with you guys all very, very soon. Happy wargaming, friends. I'll catch you later.